Good morning, everyone. You can just bear with me briefly for a second while I make sure everything's working like it's supposed to. There we go. Almost done. There we go. Now, welcome. Friday morning. It's about 1:10 in the morning. We're going to pick up where we left off on Proverbs chapter 22. Proverbs 22. We're going to read chapter 22, then we're going to go over it. And we're going to try to get a lot more done tonight. So we're going to go chapter by chapter and try to get as much done as we can in Proverbs. Okay? And I'm going to read chapter 22, and then we're going to go over the verses. Chapter 22, verse 1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and poor meet together, and the Lord is the maker of them all. A prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on, and are punished. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doeth keep the soul shall be far from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. He hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. Verse 10. Cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out, ye, strife and reproach shall cease. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips, the king shall be his friend. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, and he overthroweth the word of the transgressor. The slothful man saith, there is a lion without, I shall be slain in the streets. The mouth of strange women is deep pit. He that is abhorred of the Lord shall fall therein. Verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. He that oppresseth the poor to increase the riches, and that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. We're going to stop right there. That's not all of chapter 22, but that from verses 17 to 29 is a whole new section, and we're going to cover that shortly. But right now, let's go back to verse 22. Verse 1, it says, a good name. A good name is a good character and the reputation that should go with it. It says, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. In verse 22, the rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. The rich and the poor alike have a common origin and responsibility to God. Verse 23, a prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. The prudent keep clear of evil, but the simple charge right in and pay the penalty for doing so. Verse 4, by humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Better, meaning the reward, humility and fear of the Lord. Verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it. Train, It may include the idea of dedicating as well as educate in the way he should go, literally according to his way, i.e., the child habits and interests. The instruction must take into account his individuality and inclinations and be in keeping with his degree, physical and mental development. Verse 8. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. Rod of his anger, meaning the capacity for exercising anger. The wicked will reap what they sow and eventually perish. Verse 9. He that hath bountiful eyes shall be blessed, for his giveth of his bread to the poor. Hath a bountiful eye means has a good eye. It means looks with kindness and benevolence. Verse 11. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips, the king shall be friend. Better, he who loves purity of heart and has grace on his lips, the king is his friend. Verse 12. Okay, I'm going to pause right there. I got to get my oxygen on. If I got to put it on earlier, I keep doing that. I'm very bad at that, so just give me a second. I apologize. You can hear it in my voice. I'm getting raspy. I need to start doing better. Remember to put my oxygen on. Okay, we're on verse 12. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, and he overthroweth the words of the transgressor. The Lord is the ultimate guardian of the truth. Verse 14. The mouth of a strange woman is a deep pit. He that is a heard of the Lord shall fall therein. Strange woman means adulteress, or literally means cursed. Verse 16. He that oppresseth the poor to increase the riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. The exploitation of the poor for personal gain and bribery of the rich will both lead to want or poverty. Okay, the next section, which is part C, talks about Proverbs concerning various practices. Okay, that is chapter 22, verse 17 through verse 24, 34. We're jumping all over the place today, so just bear with me, okay? This section records the words of the wise. The teaching style is returned to the patterns of chapters 1 through 9. The proverbial discourses, however, are not as expensive. Okay, so we're going to finish chapter 22, verses 17 through verse 29, and then we'll continue on, okay? Bow down thine ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee. They shall withdrawal be fitted in the lips. As thy trust may be in the Lord, I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. Have not I written to thee excellent things, and counsels, and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of the truth? That thou mightest and answer the words of the truth, them that were sent unto me. Rob not the poor, because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. For the Lord for the Lord will plead their case, or their cause, and spoil the soul of those that spoiled them. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go. Lest thou learn this ways, and get a snare in thy soul. Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are suretized for debts. If they has nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. Seest thou a man diligent is seest thou a man diligent is in his business? He shall stand before the kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Okay, we're going to go over Proverbs chapter 22, verse 17. Bow down thine ear, and hear the words of the wise, and incline thine heart unto my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee. Oh, I jumped ahead. 17. Bow down thine ear, and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. Bow down thine ear means listen. The wise teacher invites a pupil to hear the words of the wise. Verse 18 through 21 talks about the advantage of hearing. The instructions of the wise are set forth. Okay, so for this pleasant thing, if thou keep them within thee, they shall withal be fitted in the lips. That's verse 18. Be fitted in better to be ready on. Verse 19. For this pleasant thing, if thou keep them within thee, they shall withal and fitted in thy lips. Okay, verse 19. That thy trust may be in the Lord, I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. Have I not written to thee excellent things in counsel and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of the truth, that thou mightest and answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee? Verse 20 says, have not I written these excellent things? Proverbs 22, verse 22, through chapters 24, verse 22, contains 30 units, and each view a few verses long. Okay, and we read verse 21. I'll reread it again. That I may make thee know the certain of the words of the truth, that thou mightest answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee. Answer the words of truth means answer correctly them that send unto thee. Better him who sent you. Verse 22. Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. Verse 23. For the Lord will plead their cause and spoil the soul of those that spoiled them. Cause, meaning case, or spoil the soul, is rob the soul, or take the life. Spoiled equals rob. Verse 24. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go. Furious man means a man of heat. A hot-tempered man. Okay. Verse 26. Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureteth for debt. Strike hands means confirm an agreement, suretize. Obligations themselves for the payment of another man's debt should he default. Verse 27. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? I.e., the harsh creditor. What do you mean? Talking about the harsh creditor. In verse 28, remove not the ancient landmarks which thy father hath set. To remove a boundary was the same as stealing. Um, we can take a look. That is also talked in Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 14, if you ever want to go back and check it. If you want to mark that down. And we're on verse 29. Is thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before the king. He shall not stand before mean men. Mean men means obscure men. Hold on 1 second, please. Okay. Next section is Proverbs chapter 23. Proverbs 23. And we're going to read that. This is verses 1 through 35. 1 through 35. Verse 1. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to the throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as eagles toward the heavens. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye. Neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat the drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit out, and lose thy sweet words. Speak not in the ears of the fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. Remove not the old landmarks, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless. For the Redeemer is mighty, he shall plead their cause, mighty he shall plead their cause with thee. Apply thy heart unto instruction, and thine ears into the wisdom of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt not beat him with the rod, thou shalt not deliver his soul from hell. My son, if thine heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. Ye, my reins, shall rejoice, when my lips speak right things. Let not thy heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the days long. For surely there is an end, and things expectations shall not be cut off. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Chapter 22, Proverbs chapter 23, verse 20. Be not among the wine bibbers, among righteous eaters of flesh. For the drunkards and the gluttons shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not the mother when she is old. But the truth, and sell not, also wisdom, and instruction, and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begotteth a wise child shall have joy of him. The father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She is also lieth in wait for a prey, and increase the transgressors women men. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of the eyes? He hath tarried long at the verse 30. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 30. If you want to know where we're at, if you want to follow along. They are tarry long at the wine. They are go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his colour in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. And at the last it biteth like a serpent, and strengtheneth like an adder. Then I shall behold strange woman, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it ye again. Let's go back to the beginning of chapter 23. We're going to start. We're going to cover that. I'm going to read verses 1 through 3. Then I'm going to explain those 3 verses. Okay. Let me see if we help my voice a little bit here. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife in thy throat, if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Okay, chapter 23, verses 1 through 3 talks about one must exercise caution in the presence of a ruler, for he may entertain with ulterior motives. Put a knife to thy throat, meaning restrain your appetite at the cost of dainties or delicacies. Deceitful meat means bread of lies or deceptive food. The good hospitality may have a sinister purpose behind it. I'm going to read verses 4 and 5 now. Labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom, but thou set thine eyes upon that which is not. For riches certainly make themselves wings, that fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Wisdom means understanding or insight directed towards becoming rich. The warning is against coveting riches. Okay, verse 5 talks about specifically riches are fleeting and elusive. You bank on them and suddenly they are gone. So when you plan on being rich, don't count on that money being there, because as we all know from our own experiences, when you get money, how long do you hang on to it? How long? Especially when you're poor, it disappears quick because you got to pay bills, you got to put food on the table, you got to pay rent, you got to pay utilities. There's so much stuff out there. Money, like I said, you can't count on being rich because that money disappears. You got debtors out there that are collecting their debt. So that's a good reason there. I'm going to read verses 6 through 8, then we're going to go back over 6 real quick. Eat thou not the bread of him that have an evil eye, neither desire thou dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he eat and drink. Saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten shall thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. 6 through 8 talks about a wise teacher warns against receiving favors from an insincere host. Okay, verse 36, which is, eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. Evil eye means selfish motives, or dainty meats, or delicacies. I hope what I'm doing is helping you understand a lot better the Bible. As I said before, I use a Brivey Study Bible. It's the King James Version, and not only do you have references on the side of the verses, but it also at the bottom explains certain verses so you can understand it better. And I'm going over those sections and reading to you that what I'm seeing on the bottom of the Bible, the bottom half. Okay, so help you understand a little bit better. Now we're going to verse 8. The morsels which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. Lose thy sweet words, meaning waste your compliments. You literally be wasting your compliments. You try complimenting the rich or king or leader. Okay, now we're going to go cover verses 10 and 11. Okay, which talks about a wise teacher warns against exploiting the defenseless poor. Remove not the old mark, and enter into the fields of the fatherless. For the Redeemer is mighty, he shall plead their cause with thee. In verse 10, the old landmark, meaning boundary or marker, you see also in Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 14. In verse 11, the Redeemer means near kinsman, one who will protect the interests of the family. You can see the notes on Leviticus 25, verse 25 through 28, and Ruth chapter 3, verse 9. The term may refer to God, and we can refer to the notes on Genesis chapter 48, verse 15 through 16, Exodus 6, verse 6, Job chapter 19, verse 25 to 27. Cause with the better case against you. I'm not going to spend the time going back over it because we will eventually cover it, but not today. Okay? Let's go to verse 13 and 14, which talks about a wise teacher warns of neglecting child discipline. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shall deliver his soul from hell. Discipline may be delivered a child from untimely death. That isn't like correction of your child. When a child does wrong, you slap the palm of their hands, or you spank them on the bottom. And usually they don't like it, especially when you put your hand out. How many times have you seen, you don't even hit hard. If you take the child by the hand, slap it, just the idea of being spanked on the hand, the child will whine and cry. He knows he did something wrong. And you won't leave a mark. You won't get in trouble with the state. You will not get in trouble with Child and Family Services. You're allowed to spank your child on the hand as long as you don't leave a mark or on the bottom. Honestly, the best way is on the palm of the hand. Just a smack, just a sound. Even though it won't hurt, it will scare him because he sees you slapping his hand. It's form punishment, I guarantee it. Doing it once or twice over the same thing, I guarantee it, he will not do it again. It's a good discipline, but not one that's going to hurt. There are ways to just, like I said, disciplining a kid will keep a child a lot of times in track, because then they'll know that what they did is wrong, and they don't want to do it again because they don't want to be punished. That is not really what today's society teaches, though. It frightens, a lot of parents are frightened to discipline because their kids threaten to call DCF. You know what I did with my kids? Call DCF and you can't pick up the phone, job DCF and say, here, go ahead, call them. I guarantee it. They'll think twice. But you should not be afraid to discipline your kids. There are ways of doing it that is legal by the state. You won't have your kids taken away. And you need to correct your kids. It says in the Bible, you need to discipline your kids. You don't have to beat them with a switch or with a belt. Like back in the day when I was a kid, man, I hated the belt. I hated to go get the switch. Because if you went and got the wrong switch, they make you go out and get the right one. And they will make sure you get an extra whipping. So, compared to nowadays, discipline is not as bad as it was when I was growing up. But when I was growing up, it kept me on the right path because I was beaten. I learned from my mistakes. I won't never do that again. Unfortunately, in today's society, kids are allowed to talk back to the parents. I would not allow that. With my kids, they knew better. They got spanked for it. They were sent to their room, stuck in a corner. It's just not. I don't know why parents are letting kids get away with murder. Because look what's happening to this country today because people are not disciplining their children. Do not be afraid to discipline your children. Don't whip them. You can't leave a mark on them. You can't beat them. No, you can't slap them across the face. You can't smack them on the back or anything that leaves a mark. You cannot send them anywhere on the body except for the palm of their hand, and on their bottom. As long as you don't leave a mark, they're perfectly fine. But you make sure you discipline your kids. This way they learn. Okay? Let's move to chapter 6, verse 16. Ye may reign shall rejoice. Reign means kidneys, or set of emotions. Verse 18. For surely there is an end, and thine expectations shall not be cut off. An end means better or future. Don't be unduly burdened by the problems of the present, but allow a proper perspective on the future to help you maintain buoyant attitude in the present. Verse 20. Be not among the wine bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh. Wine bibbers, heavy drinkers of wine. Right, riotous means gluttonous, flesh meaning meat. Let's look at verse 25. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and and she that bare thee shall rejoice. Better let your father and mother be glad, and let her who bore you rejoice. Talking about your mother. Let them rejoice. In other words, by doing the right thing, let them be happy about what you did. Okay, verse 27. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. Whoever is enticed by the harlot or adulteress comes to inescapable doom. Literally. And if you've been following along in Proverbs, the first part is talking about a whore or a harlot, an adulteress, and not quite making a lot of sense, but I did go over it. And you're welcome to scroll back to the part where I did it. I know it's not easy keeping track of my videos of my Bible study, so if you need to go over it again, feel free to text me or message me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I'll redo it again. I'll go over that sections again. Okay, verse 27. Okay, I already did that. Verse 28. He also lieth in wait for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men. Better or surely she lies in wait as a robber, and increase the fatherless among men. Okay, verse 29 through 35 talks about in warning against the drunkenness. A wise teacher presents a case study of drunkard. Okay, so let's look at verse 29. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? Babbling means better or complaining. In verse 30, they that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Mixed wine means mixed with spices, perhaps other drugs. Verse 31, look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. The warning is to avoid wine enticements of beauty and taste. Giveth his color, literally means give its eye. It sparkles, moveth itself aright, means goes straight or goes down smoothly. Verse 32. At the last bideth like a serpent, and strengthened like an adder. Adder means a viper or poisonous snake. In verse 33, thine eye shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Women are bitter or strange things. Verse 34, ye thou shalt be as he that lieth down on the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. The picture is a drunken sailor who falls into the sea and drowns, or goes to sleep in the crow's nest. Verse 35, they have stricken me, shall not say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it ye again. It, meaning his drink. A drunk may be involved in a fight, but he in such a stupor that he does not feel the blows on his body. And trust me, I'm a recovered alcoholic. I don't even remember feeling the punches, but you do believe me, when they sober up, or when I sobered up, I could feel the pain. I mean, I didn't feel it when I was drunk, but when I sobered up, I sure felt it. Okay, we've been at it for 36 minutes. Still, I think we can cover one more chapter real quick. We're going to do Proverbs 24. Proverbs chapter 24, starting verse 1. I'm going to read the chapter, then go back over it and recover it like I've been doing. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For the heart is studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Though wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Verse 5. A wise man is strong, yea, and a man of knowledge increaseth strength. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and the multitude of counselors there is safety. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate. He that deviseth to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is abomination of two men. Verse 10, and thou faint in the days of the adversity, the strength is small. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and these that are ready to be slain. If thou sayest, behold, we knew it not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doeth not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? My son, eat thou honey because it is good. That should be my son. Eat thou honey because it is good. And the honeycomb which is sweet and not too sweet to their taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul, when thou hast found it. Then there shall be a reward, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. Verse 15. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man faileth 7 times, and rises up again. But the wicked shall fall into mischief. Rejoice not thine enemy faileth, and let not thine heart be glad when it stumbleth. Lest the Lord see it, and it displeased him, and he turn away his wrath from him. Fret not thyself because of the evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. Verse 20. For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall put out. My son, fear thou the Lord and the King, and the middle not with them that are given to change. For the calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knoweth the ruin of them both? The things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. He that saith unto the wicked, thou art righteous, him shall not, how shall the people curse? Nations shall adore him. But to them that rebuke him shall be delight, and a good blessing shall come upon him and them. Every man shall kiss his lips that giveth a right answer. Prepare thy works without, and make it fit for thyself in thine field, and afterwards build thine house. Be not a witness against thy neighbor without cause, and deceive not thy lips. Say not, I will do so to him, he hath done to me. I will render to the man according to his works. Verse 30. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw, I considered it well. I looked upon it, and received instruction. Yet little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall the poverty come as one that travelleth, and thine want as an armed man. And we're going to go back and we're going to cover chapter 24, verse by verse. Okay, we're going to skip verse 1 and go right straight to verse 2. For the heart steadieth destruction, and the lips talk of mischief. Steadieth means ponder or mischief or trouble. Okay, we're going to read verses 24, verses 3 and 4. To the wisdom is an house builded, and by the understanding it is established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. An house means an individual or a family or any enterprise. Is grounded in wisdom, strengthened by the understanding, good judgment, and prospers by continuing knowledge. In verse 6, for by wise counsel thou shalt make the war, and in multitude counselors there is safe. Multitude means abundance or safety or victory. Verse 7, wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate. The gate meaning the meeting place of the wise men and elders of the city. And you see that in also in Ruth chapter 1 in the verses there in the notes. Verse 8, he that deviseth to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. Mischievous person means possessor of evil plans. Let's look at verse 10. If thou faint in the days of the adversity, thy strength is small. Caving in under pressure shows how small one's strength is. Like bullies. Bullies like to prey on the weak. If you show strength, or show them that you can take them down, a lot of times they will back off because they don't want to be shown that they're weak. Okay? So they'll go find someone else to pick on, someone weaker, which I myself don't like. I usually go after those people myself to prevent that from happening. I literally will go after them. Trust me, my family's small. When I was in high school, I was like 4'8". I was considered small. I'm now 5'3", but I'm still considered small compared to most freshmen, juniors, sophomores, and seniors. So, but one thing my dad taught me: just because you're small doesn't mean you're weak. My dad taught me if you had to defend yourself, strike fast and run hard, so you could fight again another day. That's the best thing I could tell you. I've had my share of bullies, and trust me, when you take them down, a lot of times they won't think about coming back at you because it just makes them look like a fool, like a complete idiot. Okay, verse 11. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain. Better are deliver those being taken to death, and those staggering to slaughter, or restrain them. forceful intervention, so to rescue those being led to death, is suggested. In verse 12, if thou sayest, Behold, we knew it not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it? And shall not the render of every man according to his works? The excuse of ignorance is not acceptable. In verse 13 and 14, my son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to thy taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto the soul when thou hast found it. Then there shall be reward, and the expectation shall not be cut off. 13 and 14 talks about a wise teacher. He gives instructions on the delight and beneficial effect of wisdom. 14, which is reward, means better future. Let's look at verse 16. For a just man faileth 7 times, and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Just, meaning righteous, or into mischief, literally into distress, or in times of adversity. Verse 20. For there shall be no reward to evil men. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. Candle meaning lamp, or joy and prosperity. Verse 21. My son, fear thou that the Lord the King, and meddle not with them that are given to change. Meddle not means do not associate with them that are given to change, those in opposition to civil authority. Verse 22. For their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knoweth the ruin of them both? Both means of, or better from, them both. The Lord and the King will punish rebellion. Verse 23. These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. Lost my place. Okay, verse 23. To have respect of persons, to regard the face, or to show fertility, Partiality. Partially, there you go. To show partially. Verse 25. But to them that rebuke him shall be delight, and a good blessing shall come upon them. Him, meaning the wicked. Verse 26. Every man shall kiss his lips, and giveth a right answer. Better means he kisses the lips who gives a right answer. As a kiss on the lips seals a matter between a couple, so an honest answer confirms a fair judgment. Verse 27. Prepare thy words without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house. Build thine house, meaning marry and rear a family. Certain preparations need to be made before one begins a family. Now we're going to look at chapter 24, verses 30 through 34. Sorry. Verses 30 through 34 talks about the wise teacher presents a lesson on laziness. From the sluggard's neglected vineyard, you make an observation, an interpretation, and an application. A wise man can learn a lesson even from a sluggard. Okay, so I'm going to read chapter 30 through verse 30 through verse 34, and hopefully that will help explain what I just said. Okay. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns and nettles, and had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it, and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. So again, it talks about the wise teacher presents a lesson of laziness from the sluggard, neglect, vineyards. You make an observation, an interpretation, and an application. A wise man can learn lessons even from a sluggard. Verse 24 talks about one that travelleth, a vagabond. And that will conclude our today's lesson. We're going to pick up on verse 25 either a little later tonight, or we'll start, or we'll do one tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll get to it as soon as we can. But as for tonight, we're going to include it here. So let's bow our heads in prayer. Thank you, Lord, for letting us gather here today. I thank you, Lord, for helping me with my oxygen, so I was able to do a Bible study today. I haven't been able to all week because my COPD had got the better of me. I pray, Lord, that you help heal me, give me strength, so I too can share your word with those around the world through the gospel that you've given me to share with you or share with them. I pray, Lord, that you answer everyone's prayers, all those that are mentioned and unmentioned. There are people everywhere that needs help, Lord. We know that. Even our missionaries. Those countries that do not like Christianity. Those countries that slaughter Christians or put them in prison just because they have a verse. Just one simple verse on a piece of paper. Some countries will just slaughter because they don't want Christianity in their country. Lord, give those people strength, Lord, for we have nothing compared to them, what they go through. They are the true Christians, able to walk and willing to be martyrs in the Lord's name, Jesus Christ. I pray, Lord, that through my lessons that I do, that people get saved on the way to you. Lord, I pray for all those that are poor. Pray for all those that are rich. Pray for all those that are weakened. Pray for all those that are good. Pray for all the pastors and priests and reverends and everyone else out there. I pray, Lord, that you give them strength to carry on and carry on. This I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, that will conclude for tonight. Or actually this morning. Yeah, I'm still on tonight. I'm still on the 12th, even though it's September 13th. Friday the 13th, mind you. This is the end of my day for the 12th. So I'll be heading to bed shortly. After I upload to other social media platforms. But I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Stay tuned for more Bible studies. And I wish you all a good morning or good night, depending when you watch this. So I wish you all God bless.